Illustrations by Pete.
So today's drawing was a train wreck. It started out okay, everything was going fine, and then I would forget to hit record every time I stopped for a section, and big chunks will be missing. So you'll see where you go from nothing, all of a sudden a big section is completed. That's my fault, user error. Everything was a struggle in this video, between not hitting record and then the ink. I went through 4 or 5 pens and they weren't writing properly. The ink was not coming out properly. I had to eventually go to a brush pen, and then that didn't work properly. From what I understand, if you stand completely still, other people cannot see you. Is it working? I think it's working. I think it's working. I don't think anybody saw me. If they did, they didn't pay any attention to me. That could be on purpose. The reason that I created the video anyway and put it out to you is because I think the most important thing is that you create something. I think that's the most important part of art. You create it and share it with someone. It may not be the best, but it didn't exist until you put it down on paper or canvas or whatever you do. And that's important. I think it's very important that you focus on that. You've created something. It may not be the best. It's okay. I don't know if I got to that in the video when I was talking, but that was the main point I was trying to say. I went off on tangents. I usually do, but that's what I really wanted to say. I think there was a movie about that once. Teacher, I just don't know what to do anymore. Everything that I do, I just feel like it's not good enough. You remember what I told you. Everything you do, you're creating art. Everything is important. Every little step, every little mistake. What you're doing is important. I just don't know. I think I want to give up. I think I'm done. I think I'm just done. Show me. Sharpen the pencil. What? Show me. Sharpen the pencil. Do I really have to? Show me. Sharpen the pencil. Sharpen the pencil. No. Over here. Show me accidentally drinking the paint water. No. Over here. Show me dropping the marker on your shirt and trying to scrub it out, realizing you never will, and you have ruined the shirt forever. No. Over here. Now, how do you feel? Teacher, this is great. I feel so inspired. I'm gonna go paint something right away. That is my favorite film of all time, and I highly recommend you watching it and nominating it for something. It's on this channel. You just saw it. Go nominate it for something, please. That was probably terrible, and I should be fired. Okay. It's a bag. It's just a bag. It's okay. No animals. I was not scared. You didn't see that. Is that man peeing? I won't show it to you, but we're in a park. It's a big park. There's a guy over in the woods. I think yes, he's definitely peeing. Is anyone still watching this? Most people skip forward to the drawing. Is that what you've done? You're not even here. No one's even seeing this. That's okay. That's all right. The people who matter, they're watching this. Okay, so let's head back to the studio, put on your crash helmet, and let's watch this disaster. Okay, look, I warned you and you're still here, so this is all on you now, really. I think it went wrong right about the time I got out of this little pink area. After that, everything just kind of went crazy, and I'll let you decide. Does the ink save it? Do you think it helps it at all? Is it somewhat decent? Is it okay? You'll notice I'll ask you a lot what you think of something, because I really don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea. So I don't know. It's like I'm a blind mouse running in a maze, and I'm asking you for help after I've already hit a dead end and fallen into a pit and electrocuted myself. I'm just pretending to be an artist on YouTube and creating stuff and hoping that you get some enjoyment out of it and some entertainment out of it. That's really what I'm doing. This is something that I think I could have just stopped, moved on. It's the second to the last page in this book, and I could have just went over it watercolor or like watercolor ground or painted over the whole thing black and done something in a white pen or something like that, but I didn't. And I always tell you that what you do is good enough. I don't get embarrassed for my art. I kind of look at it this way. I will sometimes do very well. I will sometimes hit... I'll sometimes do something and I'll say, this painting, this drawing is beautiful. I love it. I'm so glad that I sat down to do absolutely nothing and something wonderful came out of it. It brings me so much joy. And then other times I sit down to accomplish nothing and I don't. And I'm okay with that. And I'd be okay because I really don't take myself that seriously. And I know people pour themselves into their art and they get so dramatic and this is my soul on the paper. No, it's not. This is a skill that you're expressing. If you saw the picture that was in my head, if you could get in there and see this picture, what it looked like, it was magnificent. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. And I did this with it. But it's okay. It doesn't matter to me. It's not my soul. It's an expression I was trying to do. I failed miserably, and I'll work again on the next one. And that's really what I want to encourage you. If I can encourage anything from you, it's that... Is that even a sentence? That's not English, Pete. Okay, if I can encourage you to do one thing, it would be this. It would be to take yourself a little less seriously. Put on the paper whatever it is you want to put on the paper, and however it turns out, that's how it turns out, and just go on to the next thing. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. If you want to show people, you show people. If you're not proud of it, who cares? Don't worry about it. It feels good just to make something. I think this piece is a piece of garbage and should probably be thrown out by someone. I'm not going to throw it away because it's my garbage. And I created something that's never been created before. This painting, this drawing has never existed until I put it down on paper. And I think that's more important to me than whether or not it was the actual idea that I had in my head that I tried to get out. I always try and get better. I always want to improve myself. But I don't need to be the best all the time. I am not a competitive person, even a little bit. I don't have an ounce of competitiveness in me. I do the best I can, and that's the only person that I compete with is myself. All of you, everyone listening to this video, all 30 of you are better than me at art. You are. You create things. I see some of your stuff. You create stuff I don't have the patience for. Wouldn't even know where to start, how to create it. It's not what I'm doing. This is the kind of thing that I'm doing, and nobody wants to do this. I want to help you be okay with what you're doing, because you're the only one that's going to create. I'm the only person who created this garbage, and it's mine, and nobody else can say they created it. I did it. And maybe you shouldn't be proud of something like that, but for me it is. I created something. There's nothing there before. I had an idea, poorly executed, still created something. It was wonderful. I had a good day. I enjoyed this. Does that resonate with you at all? Do you understand what I'm trying to say to everybody? when I show you the stuff, the kind of art that I do. And sometimes it looks cool. I love when that happens. Sometimes it looks like this. And some of you may think this looks cool. I think the ink helped it a lot. I really do. But I want you to decide that. Did the ink really help it? It made it look a little more like cartoony instead of what I was actually trying to do, which was not cartoony at all. And it was just what I had in my head. It did not materialize on the paper. You know, it's funny. Everybody tells you as you're growing up and you tell them that you're interested in art, everybody tells you that being an artist is going to be hard. It's difficult. It's grueling. You have to spend so much time just to get your name out there and people to see your stuff and all this stuff. They tell you how hard it is, but no one tells you how fun it is. It doesn't matter to me that this is, and I know I want to clarify, me feeding myself today does not depend on this being a good piece. And if you are one of those people, I feel for you, I do. I understand what the struggle that you have to go through, because it's basically your job. It's your career, the thing that you feed your family with. And that can be very stressful when it comes to art. But for the most part, even if you're doing that, you should be having fun. There's nothing in art that really isn't fun. And if you're doing something that you don't like to do that isn't fun, I encourage you to try and find something else to do in art. Find a different style. Do something you've never done before. Use a different medium that you've never used before. Make this fun so that when you make crap and you have that bad day where you can't get what you're visualizing down on the paper, it doesn't matter. You're still enjoying yourself. You're still having fun. You're still doing well. And you can say, look, I'm an artist. I may not be the best artist at what I'm doing right here. I'm getting better. I may not be the best, but I love it. I'm enjoying myself so much. It's very important to love creating art. If you're not loving it, you're probably doing it wrong. So now I want to ask you, why do we get stuck with the word artists? Do you hear that word, artists? It's hard to say for a lot of people that when they go to say it quickly, they mess it up. They mix up the S's and the T's in the sentence while they're saying that. I think we should be called artites. I've always wanted to be an ite, some kind of ite. And I think as artists, and that's that word, artists. It's very obnoxious. And if you are someone who spits a lot, you will spit on that word. And if you're talking to someone, that's no good. You're not supposed to be spitting on anyone right now. That's the whole deal. I think someone can call the cops on you if you spit, and then that's the end of whatever you're doing. I think you should say an artite. I think that you don't spit when you say it. Nobody gets confused. It's not a hard thing to say. Everybody, with no matter what kind of speech-like impediment you have, you can say that word, artite. It's very easy. Let's try that. And while we're on that subject, something I would love to do. I would like to start a club of street vlogging artites, and then we get like 100 of us together in a field, and people wonder, what are they doing? What are those people in the field? No, those are artites, but they're not drawing, they're not painting. How can they be artites? Because we're street vlogging artites. And that's what we're doing. We're talking about doing art. We're not actually doing it. I think it should be a club. If you want to be in that club, let's start signing. First, I need a petition for Artite. And then we can start the Artite street vlogging club. And we go around to different neighborhoods. We'll just walk the streets like a mob. But a good mob. We're just walking around filming ourselves and talking about stuff. And on occasion, we might interview the local street folk from the area, the local town people, and ask them what they think about arts. Arts? Goodness. I should be fired. Okay, fellow artites, I want to focus on the ink here for just a second in this drawing. The ink even that was frustrating. Even that was a train wreck. It was like watching a child get a Christmas gift at Christmas, and you know that what's in that box is not what they want. And you know that their Aunt Lucy gave that to them thinking that it was something that they should like, but it wasn't. It was like if you like to play the guitar and someone gives you a ukulele and you say, wait a minute, this is not what I play. They don't understand. They think it's the same thing as just a thing with strings on it. It's not the same thing. Okay, these pens. I was started to use one. I wanted to give the Parker Jotter another shot with different ink to see how that worked, because that Noodler's ink, I know what it says, but it dries out very quickly. That ink in that pen is dry. It's just how it is. It re-wet very easily, cleaned out very easily. It wasn't a problem, didn't get stuck that way. It just, when I went to write with it again, after a couple of weeks of not writing with it, it didn't write at all. And I've never had that problem with any other ink. So I went back to the carbon black ink, put it in there, I drew with it, it worked for a while, and then it was a little bit too dry. I wanted to fill in the area a little bit quicker. It was not coming out the way that I wanted to, and it just took forever. So I switched pens to one that usually does very well, and that's the Tombow brush pens that work great. I used the soft one and started to fill that in, and again, it was just taking forever. So I switched out to another pen that I cut completely out of the drawing, because I went at one line and I threw it, it was too much, put it to the side. And so I picked up the Pentel brush pen and started to use that, and at first that worked great, and then towards the end the thing dried out. It was like I was using it too much and it couldn't get the ink down to the bristles fast enough. Oh, I just had a heck of a time with this. I really did not enjoy putting that ink in, but that's what I wanted to do, so I did it, and I think that helped a little bit. Then I put a little bit more detail in that pinkish part there. I think that helped a little bit, and on the green, that helped a little bit. I think overall, I was okay with it. I think it's an okay drawing, painting. Started out so different in my mind. If I had a picture, if I could project that picture down onto paper and then show you the comparison between the two, they're two different things. They're not even in the same universe. But this is what happened, this is what we have now, and I appreciate that you have stayed here to watch this with me. So I will do better in the next video. At least I will try my best. It'll be the last page in this book. I may do that one in the next video. I don't know. I might skip one before I do that last page. But either way, the next one I do in this book is the last page in this book, and then I'll do a flip through. And I love this book. But I'm not going to get another one until I fill up some of the other sketchbooks, because unless Etcher would like to send me the portrait version of this in this same size, this 8x6 size, almost, whatever numbers they use, weird stuff. You people over there use weird numbers and things for paper. Just tell me the paper, the size, the dimensions, 8x10 or 6x8. No, it's like A2, B3. We're playing bingo here with the paper. I want the size that I want, just the size. So I'll even look up, give me the centimeters. I'll look up the exchange, how it works. Where I'm terrible the metric system, but I'll figure it out. The Google is a great tool. It has a figure outer for me, and I'll do that. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.